Hello everyone, I am Tacet, and today I'm going to be going over the new Gems of War Mythic of the Scourge of Honor. Of course, this was the new Mythic we got yesterday on the 1st, oddly enough. It is the first Friday of every month, and it does happen to be exactly on New Year's Day. Happy 2021, everyone. So, of course, we did go over this Mythic exactly when it came out, all the way at like 2 a.m. when it came out on, the day of. However, it was in the very long stream that we ended up doing, so I did want to do a standalone video just going over a couple teams and just a bounty hunter very briefly. But anyways, as far as this troop, it is not bad at all. We just covered a tier list recently, and this thing is probably about A tier as far as where it stands. As far as the troop, of course, we already own it because we opened 3,100 gem keys. Yes, 3,100. It is the most it has ever taken me to get a mythic. But we do already own it, so no key opening here. But yeah, it was brutal. It was very bad luck. But anyways, main gimmick that this guy has, he has a little bit of explosion at start. He has the Cursed Disease or Random Enemy when matching 4 or more gems. This on paper seems pretty dull. However, when you look at his actual ability, it's actually not that bad. So he deals true damage to all enemies, which is an okay amount. Nothing too special there. But its main gimmick is combining with its final trait. It gains 2 mana back for each cursed enemy or diseased enemy, and this does double stack. So basically what this does is for every cursed and diseased enemy, well, he gains 2 of his mana back. However, if they are both cursed and diseased, which of course he does off his final trait, though of course you can apply it by anything, but his final trait is generally going to be the main way that you're going to get it down, he will end up getting double the boost ratio. So that means he could get a potential of 4 boost ratio per troop for a total of 16. That means if the entire enemy team is alive, cursed, and diseased, he will end up gaining 16 of his 22 mana back, meaning he will be a mythic that will only require 6 mana to end up casting again. Of course, unfortunately, he has no board control to any capacity, so he will end his turn after doing that. However, assuming he has a perfect setup, he will only need 6 follow-up mana, and even if it's not exactly 6, it'll still be a relatively low mana compared to the average mythic. His value of mana is also a bit lower just in general, starting or only needing a 22 rather than something like a 24 or higher. He also counts as Wild Folk, and while Damon's doesn't currently have a mana start, Wild Folk does, so you can start it with 50% off of Wild Folk. So, let's go and start getting into this. And hopefully you guys get better luck on the chest, because I only have 69 left. Though, of course, we have, like, infinite seal keys. I'm pretty sure we have enough to open, like, between power orbs. Or not power orbs, whatever the things are, clans. Pretty sure we have enough to get, like, 12 mythics there. But we did run out of gem keys, if nothing else. Anyway, oh, gosh, a rope dart. Oh, no. Well, actually, rope dart shouldn't matter too much, but rope dart's still really good, gosh. Probably one of the better weapons in the entire game. But anyways, we're going to start with this. This is a pretty standard team. This was the main one we've been showing. Though I do have another variant of it and a Guild War one. Though I don't think it will be used as much for Guild War. Mostly because it's a bit inconsistent. Like, it does really good sometimes, but it is not necessarily the consistency option for actually doing so. So I kind of want to get a Beetrix going before I go too crazy here. I will deny green just because he's about to Leprechaun, so less green for him to really work with there. Ideally, you want to build up as many extra turns prior to actually casting him as you can. So we are going to go for Beetrix here and hope it lands, and it does indeed land, so that's really good to see. As you can see, we currently have 3 Cursed Disease on him. You can also, oh, there we go. Oh, wait, sorry. We're still missing the one. But because you can redo it on ones that you already have. As you can see, we just did it 2 more times, and unfortunately, this guy is still not hit yet. Curse does have the capability of making it so you can get this onto basically everything, the Cursed Disease. And you can also use it as a little mini Dispel. It's a little bit inconsistent for that, for trying to get rid of Submerge, since that's one of the bigger hard counters that you will have to deal with in regard to him. So right here, I think we're going to have to let him rope dart us. We could go for Mountain Crusher and just hope for a really good Sky, but I think we're just going to go for the damage here. Gain a good majority of our mana back, and as you can see here, we pretty much just need any bit of true damage, and we will take it out. For whatever reason, he still does not want to get that targeted, but at this point we can just go for Beetrix. We can go for his ability if he doesn't die. We do have the Submerge I was just talking about, so this you can end up getting rid of by getting an extra turn. And as you can see, he now no longer has Submerge, so we can go for our kill. And there we go. Of course, the extra turn will be a little bit inconsistent at actually hitting the enemy for the Dispel once it gets to that point. However, once you have only 1 left or a few left, It becomes a lot more consistent at actually hitting what remaining troop has submerged. But it's a pretty inconsistent option while you're still doing it earlier on within the battle. Next up is pretty much the exact same team, except made into a lower rarity variant. So it doesn't use King Silenus, and it doesn't end up using the Queen Beetrix either, though Queen Beetrix isn't too hard to end up getting. But still, it just uses all the lower rarity options. The Apothecary essentially serves the purpose of Beetrix, and we have Leprechaun just as that starting burst, pretty standard for just about any team. But we'll go with this, which is just a cheaper variant. If you happen to get it earlier on in the game, and this thing would be pretty decent early on in the game. Has a pretty beefy amount of base true damage as far as what it can end up doing. But we'll go take this out, especially if you can get niches on, if you have any niches laying around. We'll get that going. Grab ourselves the... we actually kind of want more extra turns here if we can. One thing that we can end up doing with that is just throwing a blank Apothecary and doing that. Try getting as many, but we still seem to only have the 2. I don't think we have a Cascade over there. We can go for a nice Leprechaun here. However, I might just go for the cast. Start pressuring damage because we can easily go get it mana back. So we did get frozen here. One thing that we do have, though, is Apothecary Cleanse. However, I can't really take that, though, because unlike Beetrix, it doesn't auto-cleanse. The power of Beetrix. But we can still find an alternative and work around it. So that's match. And there we go. Oh, never mind. He's still ever so barely alive. We'll do this Apothecary cast, and then it's match. As you can see, really low mana cost to end up getting him right back up. Super easy. It doesn't even feel like a Mythic for mana cost after you get him down for the first time. He's pretty much just good to go. We don't even need Apothecary here. We'll take that down. He's already dead. But yeah, really low mana cost beyond the very first cast. Especially while all of them are still simultaneously alive. He's definitely a troop that you want to kill everything at the same time, ideally. Where he actually gains a benefit from everything staying alive, of course. Anyways, next up, let's go try the brown Guild War one. I don't think I'm actually going to use this for brown Guild War, but always like trying to show at least one pure color team. And I figured brown would be slightly better day for him. Red could also be a pretty good option to consider. I don't feel like green would end up being, though, overall. But brown or red, probably the stronger two. So right here, we have our mana drain and all that. We're probably going to be needing in a second. He's going to ramp up quite a bit here. Let's see. Oh, I just realized this thing just got replaced. I was like, wait, what's... Oh, an Earth is a synergy. But for the New Year's, we end up getting a Battle Crasher. And that Battle Crasher just replaced the Zoogoth. Well, that was pretty lucky. Obviously, that's not something that would happen in Guild War. But, yeah, you can extra turn spam in order to try to get rid of Submerges. It looks like we're going to have a really big Submerge issue this time around. So we're probably going to have to use this more so for its Disable right here. And go for that. Obviously, one thing that you can do with King Silenus, which is pretty much what this team build is built around, is using it with other true damage options. Obviously, it gains quite a bit of a benefit from being used with other true damage, as it is true damage itself, so having another true damage option can end up working. Of course, he can end up looping his own true damage quite a bit, so it is perfectly fine if he's the only primary true damager on your team. And of course, if you're using it with something like Beetrix, that also ends up counting as a true damage option to synergize with it. So far, pretty bad board overall. But I think we're just going to have to cast and just deal with the higher mana costs and then use some King Silenus to kind of clean. We still have that one curse. I mean, that one Submerge. Submerge, definitely one of the biggest hard counters to this team. That and the stun, because once he ends up getting stunned, he can't do his curse disease, and that will make it so he can't really do all of his boost ratio then. And that is definitely a very big problem when he can't do his boost ratio. And it looks like we're actually going to die to Submerge to just show how good Submerge actually is at this team. Because we are not going to have enough cleanse, it doesn't look like, to get all those off. At this point, it's almost going to be King Silenus doing his thing. So he actually got some summon there. We're probably going to need to do this onto blue just to get all that out and get most of that mana there. Get a little bit of poke and take a little bit of skull right there. And then probably go for another king and should almost be good to go. Do they have a color overlap with each other? No, they did not. It's definitely more important to disable the hero in this particular instance, though, that is for sure. So we have blue or green to choose from. Green would feed into our new legend, so we'll go give him his mana. Ideally, we can go get this thing cursed. There's only 2 of them. Somehow we're still missing, even though there's literally only 2 remaining. But we'll still try for it. Come on. How are you missing this hard? Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to get it then. Let's go for a single true damage poke. We might have to. Unless we really want to risk trying to go for that. I wish I could see how much mana he had. Well, then again, if he's silenced like that, he shouldn't have any. So let's go for this. Gain some of our mana back. Obviously, as more enemies die, which is generally why you don't want to take out any too early, you end up losing the amount of potential mana that you can end up getting. Since you basically can boost up to 6 per unit. As more units die, you'll of course have less mana to end up working with, which of course is a problem. Also, Mana Drain, a pretty good option to consider with him. Due to his disease, he does synergize, of course, the two together. So you can end up utilizing that in order to pressure them a little bit more. If they can't really get their mana up or do anything, then, well, you have more time to do whatever you need to do on your turn. So if you do, like, a Cockatrice, a Famine, or something else, can actually end up synergizing with him. Just because the Mana Drain still applies the pressure and makes it so you don't end up needing to really need to worry about their abilities as much. So a little bit of a sloppy battle, but hey, it came through. But overall, there's really only one main team I feel like he's going to be used for. Similar to quite a few Mythics where they kind of just get slotted into one team, and it might have a few variants here or there, but not much as far as drastic changes. And it's just this. Mountain Crusher, the Scourge of Honor, Beetrix, and King Silenus, still pretty much the go-to option. And just for fun, let's run it one last time against a Glaceon team, and we'll end it there and just go over the little Bounty Hunter team. So, of course, we do a Bounty Hunter this weekend. It's a pretty straightforward one. It's actually one of the easiest Bounty Hunters we've had yet. But as far as this Mythic, yeah, I would consider getting it. Hopefully it doesn't take you 3,100 gem keys, but it's definitely worth considering. If he doesn't infinite us right here, we should be good to go. Well, there goes Hero. I think we should be fine, though. We are frozen on the 1, but if Beetrix could just not miss, that'd be great. Or are we just going to have a horrible battle? This is why I don't like Beetrix. If anyone ever wonders why I hate Beetrix, it missing that board right there is exactly why. Beetrix, why you gotta do this to us? Why you gotta do this to us? Well, you know the premise, but yeah, you can still lose. It's not a perfect thing. It can still be infinited. And yeah, Beetrix, I hate you. It's so good for its cleanse, but I hate its ability. Like, it has a good ability, but when it misses, which it does way more than Truffle, like way more, it just feels so bad. Anyways, but that's more on Beetrix than the Mythic itself. Anyways, as far as the Bounty Hunter, it's Chris Turtle, Tagraki, Ridgeback, and Flame Maiden. Just make sure to do the Ridgeback on last slot. The main reason I say that is even though you might get a little bit less mana, when you're doing your Tagrakis, you want to make sure they're in correct order. And if you accidentally move one of the other ones into a weird order and something else gets hit by skulls, they're going to start getting hit by skulls, and that's going to get in the way of Tagraki's boost ratio for his armor. So you're generally going to want to hit for last slot with Ridgeback, so it keeps it there, unless you really need to move something to a different location, like moving a Valraven behind a yellow or something like that as you're going through. But overall, you just want to do it onto your last slot. Use that for mana accumulation. Obviously, Chris Turtle, basically like Apothecary, converts something to brown, and obviously that's to feed Tagraki, which solos the entire Bounty Hunter with magic. And then you just end up using the Flame Maiden, and this ends up having the the new troop, which you basically have to use. It has a remove all blue and does a bit of damage. This blue can cascade into a little bit more mana. However, you kind of use it as a last resort, as you're, of course, primarily using Tagraki to get through the Bounty Hunter event. And that's pretty much everything. But anyways, guys, just wanted to cover the Mythic real quick, since we didn't actually do a dedicated video to it, even though we kind of went over as soon as it launched earlier. Fortunately, we couldn't have a key opening for it, because there's no way I'm opening more keys than we already have. But anyways, guys, best of luck with the Mythic. If you still have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. All the teams mentioned in this video, as always, will, of course, be in the description. And if you still want to go get the Mythic, it will be available for the next week in Glory Gem Guild and VIP chests. So if you want to still get that, you still have plenty of time. You have until next week's Friday, so basically the end of Thursday, basically Friday reset time. So you still got plenty of time to go and get the new troop. Anyways, guys, best of luck, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye, everyone, and thanks for watching.